Welcome to Nosgoth News Network. This week, nothing happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. Hello and welcome to another Nosgoth News Network with me, Basilim. As always, we'll be taking a look at the Legacy of Kain news and current events in the world today. This week, it's been rather an impactful week for us here at the Ancients' Den. If you've been paying attention to the news, or if you've just, say, looked at some of the old Nosgoth News Networks, say June 2023 at 25 seconds, you'll have realised that my partner Raina Aldrin has been busy for quite a while on her own personal projects. Well, this week, let's address the elephant in the room straight away. This week it was revealed what that project was, and that project is Tomb Raider 1 to 3 Remastered. Now, if you haven't heard about this, our sort of, if you like, our sister franchise within the Crystal Dynamics umbrella, Tomb Raider has just had a brand new remaster released officially. It takes all three of the original first sort of core design games, and it completely remasters them. It's still running on the original engine, but you have brand new high definition graphics. You have brand new 3D models where there were 2D sprites before. You have new controls, new effects, new everything. I mean, it looks amazing. It plays pretty well, I have to say. And of course, it's come out in the last sort of couple of days. The reason for those looking and playing so brilliantly is because the developers Saber Interactive and the publishers Aspire, they had assembled a crack team of Tomb Raider fans to help develop the game, and they have been responsible for some of the biggest and most fan-pleasing updates in there. And among those fans was someone quite familiar to us who's done a Soul Reaver HD remaster and has also done Tomb Raider updates in the past, Tomb Raider remastering projects before, and that is obviously my partner Raina Aldrin. So if you look in some of the textures there, you will notice the inevitable Raina Aldrin signature look to them. They are very, very, very breathtaking. It's perfect marriage. If I'm honest, I've played the game. I've been playing the game on and off for a little while. I've got to say, I wasn't expecting to get along with the modern control scheme they've put in, but have found that I kind of have. I was expecting to be staying with the tank controls, to be jumping and flipping everywhere, but now that I've worked out how to do those things in the modern control scheme, it's kind of clicked with me. I really, really didn't think I would, but it has clicked. If you are not sure of how to do those things, the key is to pull out your guns, and then you get sort of secondary things like that. I have heard a lot of people having control problems with the modern control scheme, but it's got most of the stuff that's in the tank controls. It's just not as obvious where to find them. So, but once you find them, I think it works. It works better than you'd have expected, and I found myself being far more manoeuvrable, running circles around the T-Rex rather than it trying to eat me. It was quite a lot of fun. It is getting some quite good reviews, and it is being generally quite well received. The Embracer Group investor call came just after it, and that looks like well, they seemed quite pleased by the sales figures, and they were obviously using the Tomb Raider remaster on the background of their slides, so it probably means good things for that franchise. So as a Legacy of Kain fan, you might look at that and go, well, that's Tomb Raider. They took our developers. They get all of these things thrown at them all of the time. Why are they getting exactly the perfect thing that we want? Well, I can kind of see that, but I can also see that from a certain perspective, their classic fans have had a similar experience to ours. They have argued that classic Lara has been neglected ever since sort of Angel of Darkness in 2003. It's been, the character has been changed, the environments, the way of interacting with everything has been changed such that the newer Tomb Raiders don't represent the legacy of the older games. I would probably dispute that, but I can see that from a certain perspective they feel a little neglected. So for them, it's the return of a long forgotten and well-loved franchise. So yeah, I can look at that and go, well, that's something we would like as well. So another reason for bringing this up is Easter eggs. Now, if you know Crystal Dynamics games and other Tomb Raider games before, they've traditionally included quite a wide range of Easter eggs and secrets to look for, especially when relates to the Legacy of Kain series, and this game is no exception. Being made by the fans for the fans, there are a lot of little Easter eggs and secrets there. Look into the little readouts in the background, things that you couldn't read in the original games. Turn up the scale, turn to modern graphics, and you can read some little messages there. There are all sorts of funny little gags, funny little Easter eggs in there. And one of the things that I can now say, because it has been noticed, it has been pointed out in the forums, is that the Legacy of Kain does get its own Easter eggs. If you look into the Croft Manor, indeed in any of the games, check into the Croft Manor, look at the paintings there. You'll find some interesting paintings, including the portrait of human Kain, Kain of Korhagen, from Legacy of Kain Defiance. Now, if you know the history of that portrait, you know it went on to appear in the Tomb Raider games made by Crystal Dynamics. So it appeared in Tomb Raider Legend, it appeared in Tomb Raider Anniversary, and it appeared in Tomb Raider Underworld, all on the wall of the Croft Manor. So this appearing in Tomb Raider Remastered is a nice little simultaneous Easter egg, both to the Legacy of Kain series and to the LAU trilogy of Tomb Raider. So it's a nice little simultaneous callback. I will say though, it's not the only Legacy of Kain Easter egg. There are more out there. Go looking, see what you can find. There are more. I won't say anything more. I'll let you look for them. But yeah, happy hunting on that score. Now, another reason that this landmark remaster is interesting for the Legacy of Kain series is because of Embracer's fortunes. Now, last year, Embracer Group had a bit of a problem with their investment. They were due to go into a big deal with apparently a Saudi business partner that at the last minute pulled out and left them with a massive funding shortfall. Now, this is something that is going on across the industry. So it's not just something that's being felt in Embracer. There are big funding gaps all over the industry. But what it has meant is that Embracer immediately started needing to wield the axe and start cutting things. They have a huge portfolio, huge amount of studios. It was inevitable there were going to be job losses. It was inevitable there were going to be cancellations. And that has been going on now since last year. They've been cutting people, they've been cutting jobs. It's unpleasant reading. There's no word as to how this affects Legacy of Kain, or whether there were even any Legacy of Kain things in development, but it hasn't looked the best. It has been quite worrying, and obviously our hearts go out for all of those affected, for anyone who has lost a job, and things like that. We feel for you, and we would like to give you our condolences and our best wishes for the future. We hope you land on your feet. But obviously, yeah, this has put a bit of a downer on a lot of things. And just to be clear, like I say, it's not just Embracer this is happening to. All over the industry, there are cuts, there are job losses, there are cancellations. And it's come out recently that cancellations and cuts have led to Deus Ex, which was one of the franchises that came to Embracer in that big ADOS sale. They had a new game in the works that has been cancelled. So obviously the fear there is the same thing might have happened to us. In fact, one of the interesting things that came out in relation to Tomb Raider Remastered was that one of the community managers there, or several of the community team there, have lost their jobs, including those who were supposed to be doing the marketing for Tomb Raider Remastered, which is why it might have slipped under the radar a little more than it was perhaps intended to. The people aren't there that should have been marketing this. So it is a big ramification being felt through the industry. But looking at it in a positive way, one of the things Embracer had said they were doing was that they were going to be looking for ways to focus on their older titles, to bring them into the future, to bring them to the front again. And with the recent investor call, they were saying their cuts are almost finished. So they have almost finished what they were doing to restructure the business. So with a bit of luck, they'll be wielding the axe around a little less. There'll be a little less to cut out. And they'll be moving forward with what their plans were for their old series. Now, obviously, we don't have any concrete information on what they're thinking with Legacy of Kain. We don't know what they're planning. But you would hope, looking at Tomb Raider Remastered, you would hope they can look at that and say, that's exactly what people want. Say if they were to take the Soul Reaver games and give them an upscale, give them a remastering treatment, all new models, switching between modern and classic graphics, improving the control schemes. Hell, I mean, one of the things that Tomb Raider Remastered has done quite subtly is it's been including some cut content. You can only dream of what that sort of approach could do for Legacy of Kain. It's a mouth-watering possibility. And yes, we don't know what's going on there, but you can hope, as the last word of Defiance was hope. So aside from that, what's been going on in the Legacy of Kain space? Well, another thing I have to address is our last video on Soul Reaver coming back to online stores. Now, we did put an update in the description, but you might not have noticed that, and that is that almost immediately after being put up on online stores, Soul Reaver's GOG portal was again closed. They shut it down, along with the information that this was at publisher request. They didn't just shut it down for no reason. It has been requested that they remove the storefront. So this update that GOG had put in, they put a lot of work into. It wasn't perfect, but they had put a lot of work into this update, and the publisher said, no, shut it down. Now, no idea what the reasoning would be for that, but of course, one of the things that publishers tend to do when they have something else in the pipeline like that is that they will shut down potentially competing projects. So you could take that as a sign that they have plans for Legacy of Kain. And you could mix that with the remaster news and come out with something shiny. Or it could mean absolutely nothing. It could mean that the product wasn't up to par, and it could mean that they weren't happy with what came out. So, swings and roundabouts, who knows? We'll see. In terms of the general Legacy of Kain stuff, I am still, with Rainer off doing professional game development, I am trying to shoulder a lot more of the activity on the channel, and I'm trying to do a lot more of the work and the videos there. But I'm also carrying on with the wiki stuff. So you will find there have been new enemy articles on Blood Omen on the wiki. So I'm trying to do a lot of those sort of things, fill in the details there. I'm also working through on the Arcane Tomes videos. I think I did the Silence Cathedral and Mortanius recently. I've actually done quite a few little short videos for Tomb Raider Remastered, just for the laughs. I mean, have a look at those. And yeah, there is still ongoing work in a lot of sort of elements of Legacy of Kain lore. Some very interesting things turning up there, which I mean we'll talk about in future. So just as a final little summary here, the Embracer Group hasn't been doing the best recently, but it does look like they're coming to the end of the bad period, and that things could be turning a corner. And they had previously said that they were looking to capitalise on a lot of their older franchises and bring them back to the fore and honour some of the fans' original wishes. This, with Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered, looks like it could be the start of that process, the first of the big games from the past to come back and make an impact. You can only hope that they would be looking at some of their other big franchises, say ones with massive survey responses, and be thinking about doing the same there. Obviously take that with a pinch of salt. Take that with a massive pinch of salt, because we don't know exactly what they're going to be doing. We don't know what their plans are. But hope has to spring eternal, as the last word of Defiance was hope. In the meantime, I highly recommend you give Tomb Raider 1-3 Remastered a look. It really is a brilliant experience. I may be a little biased, but it has so much there that is just sort of the perfect package for an old school nostalgia gamer. It's got new graphics, it's got everything HD, and it's not just some AI upscale. You can see there's some handcrafting in this. It looks stunning. The lighting has been overhauled. You can switch on the fly between new and old graphics. You get 60 frames per second on the normal mode. You can switch between them. It's got so many things that I run out of what they all are, because there are so many things there. There's 3D models, new 3D objects. It's just, what they have done is amazing. And I mean, really, it's a fan's dream made by fans. And if Tomb Raider fans can dream, then hopefully so can we. That's all from me for now. Until next time, Bay Victors.